Okay.
There we go. All right, so you've got the recap?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So first thing, last session, um, we are wanting to check in on Pridwin. I believe we left off the time before. Um, where did we leave the time before? I'm trying to remember now. It was the wait for. It was the beginning of the week we have, right?
Yes.
Yes. So we kind of start our efforts in the um incoming wave of nightingales and undead and stuff like that. Um, Alaris is just kind of helping around with local defenses and stuff. Kane goes to the chief warden asking about how exactly the defenses are gonna go. Um, Wondering about where she's gonna be in, and she is not a front line. And stuff like traps and stuff like that is talked about. But moreover, he asks about the Sword of Thorns, and she says she can apparently cleanse it in a way. Um, Also, the chief asks Kane not to throw his life away, and to take care of the people, to take care of the more vulnerable of her people. Alsana tries to scry on her alter ego, and it fails. Then kind of asks around Deep Thicket for information about Bridwin. She gets the thing about the current king, or at least was intending to be king. Young boy by the name of Arminius II. Calda's walking around being cool and strong, and all the elves think she's really cool. We consider either how to use scries and transport for your plants, and we eventually are considering going to Threshold. We go and we tell the chief that we're planning on it. We head there, and we give. Oh well, first we ask a few things about Deep Thicket. Planes of influence. She doesn't have too much of the Fae. Apparently, they're more tied to the Beastlands, which we didn't get a whole lot about, unfortunately. Also, if Threshold is intending to send anyone for help, the Deep Thicket will help them along to get to the right place. Head to Threshold, head to Flareon, give him proper information about stuff, and he gives us information about stuff. Apparently, Prinwin is pulling away from the conflict rather conveniently, as well as postponing the king's coronation. So we kind of put the pieces together on that front. Get information about the late Queen of Pridwind, who was before the prince to be crowned king. More on that later. I'll update Florian about all the stuff going on in Deep Thicket. He mentions a thing about perhaps if we want to head more towards where the troops might be marching, he can get some messages out to Resmond Citadel, and can maybe coordinate an effort to scry upon and then teleport to a tree by some of the agents they have there. But that's quickly thrown out the window later.
Everything changed when the Scryer Nation attacked.
We Zone of Truth for Larion. He seems legit. Alsana gives a scry on the Prince of Citadel. A young boy, maybe 11 or 13, proceeds to walk up to what is said to be his mother's room. Apparently she's with a visiting alchemist. Funny that. It's Alsana. The eye on her forehead is not seemingly activated, so she does not notice the scry currently hovering over the kid's head. He walks in to talk to his mom as she moves away her own physician and Alsana. And from the looks of it, she's the queen who was assassinated. And they brought her back, and she was death-belled when she was assassinated, and Alsana seems to have broken that little rule. on her to clear their way through the area by probably killing her in the first place, but we don't know that for sure, but definitely bringing her back later and holding that over their heads. The queen is a bit cold and stoic in her ways, but can you blame her given the situation? But she's nice enough and gives her kid some advice not to be weak, and asks him to dump the current medicine that they are giving her into the nearest chamber pot. Apparently there's 2 nightingales currently there. The other one's probably Alaris. The Dark Man. So, unless Kane has gotten a tan recently, or I guess good, but she does not trust them at all. But given the situation, she's not exactly got the best position to make a choice here. She's worried she could end up some sort of pawn to them, or if she's not already. So after that, and the scry fades, we realize we need to talk to the queen. Alsana relays this with everyone, and then tries her best to pin down a dream spell. We make a dash over to Alistair. He does have 1 scroll of dream, and there is some cause for debate on whether dream is actually also on a spell list or not, so it is murky waters, so she has to make a check for it. Meanwhile, Kane's looking up manuscripts of defense and combat and stuff. She succeeds with the help of her own guidance and Alaris. What's up?
Not quite what he was looking up, but it's fine.
Eventually, Dream is successfully cast, and Alsana gets an audience with the queen. Makes the room a bit more royally inviting. Alsana keeps her mask on, but the queen sees through that pretty quickly. Alsana goes to explain their current situation, not too heavy on the, hey, there's 2 material planes and such, and we're from the other one and that. But she roughly comes to the conclusion that Alsana is a doppelganger of the one she's currently dealing with in some manner. She says her physician says the brew that she's been taking is safe, but she's still not so keen on that, especially with some weird iffiness on how, I think it's is there a council? And how their decisions are kind of going with the prince and such, and the decision to bring her back in the first place and the things that happened to make that happen. Alsana offers her another opportunity. She'd be more than happy to give a look at what exactly is in that stuff, and give a more accurate description of what the queen can perhaps expect of her current state. As well as promptly ousting the current occupants of the castle, the Nightingale occupants, that is. In return, we just need a way in, and the queen offers a potential in her trusted aid of Lisa, who can both bring the ingredients in the thing the queen is taking and find herself sat down in front of a tree at a current time of day, more than willing to let viewing magics take her. The queen wants a proper summary of everything we plan to do before we even properly come in the castle. She doesn't want her people in danger, and so we need to either contain the collateral or just move it somewhere else. So we'll be sent in 2 days from the conversation with her. She seems to be willing to go along with this. Also, apparently the Mir Alsana and Alaris came with a small group of soldiers, so it's not just gonna be those 2. Certain current schedule is 2 days' time, 4 hours past noon. And with a final look in on the queen, Alsana thinks she's trustworthy because we look like the best hope she has, and vice versa. That's where we roughly ended it.
All right. So we're going to pick up the... Well, first of all,
I was gonna
there's
say,
something happening in the background.
can Kane instinctively judo flip whoever is reaching into his bag?
You noticed. So go ahead and roll me a contested athletics check, Calder. You're on the other side of that one.
Oh. He just looks down and like, did you need something? There we go.
Fucking damn it. A slight
Calder
turn
won
down
the-
requested on that one.
Okay.
Pretty well done, man.
Calder won the judo flip. I can turn the individual music down. And apparently would like to flip Kane back.
I'm sorry, you're collecting a few hilts. I only really have full swords in there. At least I think I do. And he reaches in the bag and picks hilt. Not trying to summon one, just if he has one.
I'm not sure how the particulars of this work. You might get a hilt, but it's attached to a sword.
Okay, makes sense. He just kind of like pulls out like a probably like a great sword, just like, this one's got like a really long hilt.
Is it leather?
Probably leather. I can't imagine it's anything else.
The core of the hilt, of course, is iron, and there's wood, and then, yes, the grip would be wrapped in leather in all likelihood.
Might be a long sword. Let me check. Yeah, it's probably long. It's probably the +1 long sword he pulls out, because he doesn't have a great sword in there. So, all right, just don't leave it handleless, please. Oh, do you just want a big piece of leather? I have leather. I give her my leather armor. Just put the whole set like here. Do what you want with it.
Galda, it is a big set of leather armor, given that it was fitted for Kane.
Yep. Actually, is it studded? No, it's just basic leather. Yeah. Just yeah.
The breast piece is nearly as big as you are.
Yeah. Ken got some yiddies. Just at some point, give it back. No rush for it, though. I'm not wrong.
You can be morally wrong.
No. He's got pecs that can crush an orange. You zest lemon off that shit.
Alright.
Look, I have a lot more fruit analogies for this, but continue.
This is what happens when Kane gets drunk. But right now, he's just reading.
I love the idea of him just rubbing a lemon on his chest, hoping it grinds while he's drunk.
Alright. So.
That's it. Let's continue reading.
Calder, you have leather armor. Kane, you have new knowledge. Alsana, you have new knowledge, and you've shared it with the rest of the group already. So, yep. After Calder puts armor back on, and you guys are able to return to your promised borrowed rooms for the night, you can stay overnight, because this was later in the afternoon, technically.
I was going to give a quick check-in with Florian.
Okay.
Just,
What would you like to check in with?
you said before that you had some potential contacts for us. Was there any in Pridwin, in the Citadel itself?
I am the Citadel. I don't believe so. I think we talked about this. Resmond or the Citadel, and there was a possibility of someone being in the area, but not necessarily in either city. You needed a tree, right?
Yes, that might have changed now.
Oh. You
Um,
see him
oh, I need
put
to.
some papers down.
Yeah, I remember I said this. I said this at the end of the session, but yeah, she hasn't actually told him yet. Right, I should let you know. I talked to the queen. She's willing to give us an in.
Beg pardon.
What you were intending with one of your agents?
No, no, no. That's not the confusing part. The queen?
Yes, of Citadel.
Yeah. You can just talk to her.
Not just, no. I used a spell scroll of Alistair's that he was very helpful in giving,
Hmm.
and that was
Oh.
the main and only easy access to a conversation with her I have right now.
Must have made quite a good impression on him if he's willing to share his magical scrolls and implements so freely.
Smile on her face. Well, also, given the circumstances.
I see. Are you still needing agents for Deep Thicket? I could focus on that instead.
Kind of scratches the back of her head. We are, let's say, en route to apprehend 2 of the 4 in Citadel. That said, there's still going to be others we're going to want to track down and find. And I'd imagine if we proceed to end them in Citadel, there would be a chance for the marching groups to maybe not have such an easy time there. But so I'm wondering if perhaps Resmond, getting a look in on Resmond is still in order.
I can make an attempt. Again, at least a couple of days in order to get a bird out, a response.
Right. Could you send a bird out and such that you could give a response and get a response in 3 days?
I can request the response be delayed. Perhaps.
How quickly would it get to? Sorry, I'm this player not fully remembering last time.
Okay, it would take a day for a bird to get there.
Okay.
Potentially with instructions. It would take a day to get a confirmation back.
Okay. Okay, then. Alright. Could you then perhaps schedule the look in for 3 days from now with a confirmation in 2?
3 days from now, so on the 10th?
I believe so. Which the setup with the queen is the 9th, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yep. That will work, yes.
Alright, I will, I'll have it written in the instructions. I'm just gonna cross-reference a couple, and I might have to send 2, maybe 3 birds, and just in case somebody might be in the area, but another... We're gonna do our best.
It's appreciated. Is there... One of the clauses with the queen was that we keep collateral issues to a minimum.
Ah.
Would you have any insight on that? Dealing with the 2 of them, the Elsana, the Alaris, in Citadel.
Huh. Not really. I am not a tactician. The best I can manage is a very unhelpful try to fight them on the plains, not in the city. But I realize they may not be possible, and it's perhaps easier said than done.
On the plains, you mean outside the city, not...
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yes. There's a great deal of very open terrain surrounding the city itself. A great deal of it is farmland, in fairness, but there are some tracts that might not cause too much harm if damaged.
Right, I'm... there's still the hope of catching them unawares, as it were. And I don't see them leaving the Citadel until further enforcements arrive, and that might be more difficult to keep collateral down.
No, indeed. Uh, in that case, I have no such advice for you other than try to find out what your options would be in the location itself. Um, you'd be a better judge of it than I.
Nuts. Do you have any? Could you point me to anyone who would have a bit more information on the town?
I believe that you are mistaking what we as the Keepers do. We're not a repository of all knowledge. We do not have maps of every city. We do not have agents in every location. We keep an eye on the locations of power, of the shrines,
I'm
and
sorry,
we
I thought
try
there was
to
one in Citadel.
watch. Oh, there's not necessarily one in Citadel. There might be one in Pridwin. There might be a couple in Pridwin, or at least surrounding areas. If we're very fortunate, they may be in Citadel stopping over. Our people tend to travel. They are not rooted. They are not informants or agents or spies in that regard.
I get
They don't necessarily stay in one location unless that location happens to be such as Threshold.
I understand that. Just I'm looking for anything I can before I commit to leaving this area. That's all. All help is appreciated, nonetheless.
Honestly, if it's going to take 3 days to get a response and to create any potential liaison, then if you need this information before those 3 days, it's rather a moot point.
Well, the message is to the one in Resmond, yes?
One of those that may be near Resmond at this time. Yes. If you want me to point someone towards the Citadel, I can include instructions for that, whoever may be closer.
That would work as well. If you could get us, if there would be a place we could find someone, the person that you're pointing.
I'll make it so they can seek you out.
That'll work.
You'll be far more distinctive.
Right.
Given, and he taps his face.
Yes, but I'm wondering how distinctive we would like to make ourselves while there, amongst those two.
True enough. In that case, I will. See, I'm not sure which one would be there, so I couldn't give you a description or a name and guarantee that would be the one, but I can ask them to make a sign to. Let's see.
How about an ugly pink shirt?
An article of clothing, conspicuously worn. Can't guarantee a pink shirt, but I can request a pink sash worn across the shoulder. Alright, I will include that in the instructions, and if you happen to come across somebody hanging about, perhaps one of the larger marketplaces, it's a place many people would go and perhaps linger, wearing such attire, then you should be able to approach and ask after the keepers.
Appreciate it.
As for the layout of the Citadel, again, I don't have a map for you, but I do know that in general, the ruling body, the castle, stands on a large hill at the core of the city. The city itself surrounds it, radiating outwards. It's a city that sprawled and grew as it did so, so there is no set, planned structure. It can be a bit confusing to navigate from what I've heard. but not difficult, not impossible. You should always be able to get some directions. Aside from that, though, there are likely there will be an outer wall, but potentially some sprawl beyond that. And as for anything like marketplaces, there are likely ones near any given gate, but a larger one, I believe, is said to be closer to the center, more up against the castle. That would be the one that I would have instructions to wait and look for you in.
All right. Are you? I assume in this, the castle perhaps has some sort of prison.
Very likely, if not beneath the castle itself, then certainly nearby.
Mm-hmm. That would be a place not too. It would be containing.
It would be containing, but if you plan on setting off any large magics, I would fear for the structures above you.
That's fair.
Really, it depends on what sorts of magics would be involved. From my little knowledge, I don't believe... We don't have much information on your counterpart in battles. I don't believe the others are particularly given to cataclysmic.
Shaking the earth.
Yes. At least not from any reports. That being said, it's also possible that they've simply never had need of such magic and so have not used it.
So the over-under is a big maybe.
It is very much a big maybe. It may be a risk worth taking if you think that you can contain them quickly enough that it would not matter. Let us put it that way.
If I had to pick a place in the town, it'd be the best one I could think of. I do not know how ideal getting them out of there would be. But that's for us to find out. Is there anything else you would have with me right now?
No, I believe not. I will send out the birds this evening.
Appreciate it.
Of course. He waves and just immediately goes back to his papers, making almost cross-referencing across various sheets and reports and jotting notes down on the side even before you've left the room.
Mm-hmm. Hear the of the pen go. She walks out. She'll go find the group.
This is in the morning?
No, this is still in the evening.
Okay. Kane has probably finished his letter, and at this point is just kind of relaxing. If there's a bath, he's probably like neck deep in warm water.
Mm-hmm.
Florian's up to date.
All right. Anything you need from me, or?
No. We have a potential agent to make contact with Incitadel, as well as after our inn there the next day, I have a potential point of entry into the area in or around Resmond, hopefully, depending on where that individual has wandered to.
All right. But any plans for tomorrow, or?
We need to look further into Citadel.
So are we going there, or are we looking in?
We can't go there until 2 days from now. The best I could do is look in. But if there's any research we could do in someplace else, that would be helpful.
What place else do we have access to?
Alistair, would you know if Ambarion had much information on Citadel?
I'm sorry, I was assuming that you were like sitting in the entrance of the bathroom while Kane was neck deep
Alistair
in
might,
water.
Alistair might be there too. It could be a public bath.
Oh my gosh. Alright, so in the library instead. God, you guys threw me for a loop there.
Total best
Okay.
hat.
What did you ask Alistair again?
We're in the hallway. Alsana leans into the doorway
Yep.
nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Alistair, do you know if there would be much information on Citadel in Umbarian?
Probably. You could give it a try. That being said, yeah, Umbarion's got its libraries, and some of them are even open to the public. You could ask after a map, though you may have to take a copy yourselves.
That'll
Most maps are kept in such institutions and not up for being borrowed.
be fine by me.
Do you have one that will be most tolerant of people who wear masks that you can think of?
His face kind of twists up. You always get odd ones, I suppose, studying magics. Just go with that as your excuse.
Library recommendation in general, then?
He will give you a library recommendation in Umbarion.
Alright. So we'll note that down. You wouldn't happen to know an alchemist in Umbarion, would you?
Freaking hell. Probably. Yes. He can give you a name and a location.
Sorry, hearing the dice clatter in real life and then an angry yes is what are you coming?
I'm just gonna cry, guys. You keep making me make things up.
You say we like it's anyone but Alsana.
You're right.
To be fair,
Devin?
I asked before where she could find an alchemist, and you did mention Umbarion.
I did, yes. There's probably quite a few, but Alistair can give you one name in particular, which I do not have.
Alright, yep. Alsana will note these two names that are like jumbles of text, and we don't worry about them right now.
Look, they're all named Johnson.
Yep.
Every single one.
Put it on a piece of paper, fold it up, and put it in her cloak. Alright, very appreciated.
I just randomized a name and got Merlin first off, so how about no? Felix.
Merlin's magic McPotion. And now.
Stormtender?
Felix keeps potions.
Felix keeps
Is
potions?
Keith his last name?
I don't know.
It is now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
fuck
it
Felix
is.
keeps potions.
Yep. There we go. So you have an alchemist, you know the location of a library. Is there anything else?
I don't know, Ariel, is there?
I would like to note, by the way, that Kane is still wearing his bag. He just has it hanging out of the bath, so it's not getting wet. Because after cultivation of his bag, he's not feeling very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Might find an enchanter, yes? No. Alsana will also just check in with Calder, just like, are you
Sure,
good to go to Umbarion?
There we go. Gee, a famous alchemist named Al?
Mm-hmm.
Dangerous and risky how?
Us walking around with a mask in public, very easily able to be seen. In a large city that Cola is known to have connections to.
I'd like to hear from Calder, thank you.
I'm just offering ideas. Can't have a monopoly on being worried, you know? We
That's fair.
have a mask of disguise itself, don't we?
Do we?
I think so. Is it just the helmet to comprehend languages? Huh. Yeah, true. I mean, what season is it again? Is it fall?
Fall. It is just turning into fall.
I mean, I could dress you up like you're my kid, and I can let you ride my shoulders. Yeah. Put a little like leather strap over the front of my chest, and you face me, and just carry you in like that. Hand you a bottle, maybe.
So
I
if
don't know
you're
what kids look like.
if you're the main concern, then we can take extra efforts to make sure you're not as identifiable. So I mean, to be fair, we have already attempted to walk into Walton with Alaris in the group.
Yeah, but look how that went.
Yep, test we see.
Trying to get formatting.
I think there is a way to do the strike through. Hold on.
Or joke, perhaps I will cut to bring that joke back.
Careful, your tempering disadvantages every time you say that joke.
Yes, that might be in order. Maybe for more than one of us. It wouldn't be off base. Let's just hope we don't disguise ourselves so poorly we stick out more. Her face scrunches up.
Break out the pastels.
I will go dark gray and no more.
Okay, kind of just like looks like, do I have a fashion specifically, or should I just wear different armor? I don't think I can change much by being tall and disgustingly handsome.
You forgot half of that, right? Perhaps. Could you?
Kane will just grab Calder by the wrist and just like, okay, seriously, stop reaching to the bag. I don't even let Alaris reach into the bag.
He doesn't.
Alaris doesn't have the upper body strength to contest you in that.
That's fine. Thank you. And he hands her a dagger,
Plus,
just
I
off
don't
it,
think
off of the
there's
belt.
anything I really need out of the bag of holding. I don't really
Yeah.
ask you to put anything in there.
I don't know. I got about 600 bolts in there.
Fair enough, but you
You
usually
were
know
in
when I'm
pockets
gonna
in the back, Calder? That's impressive. It's
Not in the
dedication.
bath right now.
Yeah, that's been confirmed.
Aw. I'm sure they got clothes here.
But for you, Kane, maybe a longer sleeve and a hood?
Oh, hold on. I've got a better idea. Kane's gonna reach into his bag and try to pull out a set of nobleman's clothes. Actually, not nobleman's clothes. He pulled out a set of wizard robes. Damn.
They're sized for a kobold.
What if I called it
A thin kobold.
then? Just head out the shoulders, it's fine.
Is Ariel here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm just letting you guys plan.
What do I get when I pull out the terrible wizard robe?
Which terrible wizard robe was this?
I just tried to pull it and I got a 4.
I thought you already used that for the day.
Oh, I don't have it marked out. I might have forgotten.
I could swear that you pulled something out earlier in this day, but it's been
I
like...
will trust your memory over mine.
I distinctly remember it being something stupid today.
It's always something stupid.
Yes. So, yeah.
So
Okay,
yeah,
go back.
you reach in and then you go, oh yeah, I already did this, and you get nothing, I'm afraid.
You get a single piece of felt with like a little star on it.
Does Kane have like a traveling cloak? Like a raincoat?
Up to him. Do
Imagine
you
he
think
would.
that Kane would?
He'd have like a poncho at least.
Okay.
Just to keep the armor from getting too much water on it.
Yeah, Kane's got a poncho, and it's probably treated with oils so that the water will just slide right off.
Yes, that'll
He
probably
just
work
kinda
better.
looks at it and
Just
says, "Oh, I'll just sew an extra bit of fabric onto the bottom while we wait tonight, and looks more like a cloak than an actual poncho.
if you think so.
And I could shave my head.
There's some cloaks she bought for us on a while back. What is this?
Yeah. So how did none of us think of bringing disguises other than a singular mask with us?
I don't know.
Oh, hold on. In the bag of holding, we have a humanoid-sized, burgundy-sized silk robe with gold embroidery. Alaris, just saying.
Sure, let's do that.
In a mood that day. I'll take your word for it. I suppose this could work. And she kind of like turns it around. A bit light, but I'll live with it for now.
Color and weight.
Color.
Well, it's kind of hard to not have that be a side effect of what we give you.
Okay, never mind. I
She did
assumed
say
silk
black.
meant lighter, but I think this will
Yeah.
work fine.
Maybe put some, I don't know, what's a color you would never normally wear, like hot pink?
Thank you, Calder.
You could like sew some embroidery onto it. It's like crazy pink. Yep, and Kane will just reach and pull out one of his cloaks and just like, I can just wrap you in this, and again, you are orc child sized, so. So don't wear your armor. Or we strap bells to your head. The little kid's like garment and make it look nice. Make it seem intentional.
Also, keep in mind, we'll likely be taking some sort of boat there.
We could also just buy clothes.
It's not unreasonable that you could perhaps stay on the ship for a little.
Not sure how much I love that idea, but
Real quick, what's everybody's passive perception?
16, I think.
10,
16.
16. Called Alsana's like 20. Elaris?
Yeah.
21.
Give me a sec.
Passive perception.
Ouch. Perception, 16, I believe.
Okay. And you guys do have the lantern out, right?
Mhm.
I remember that
Oh.
being a thing.
Loris has passive advantage, which some DMs do as +5. I don't know how you want to add that.
I'm gonna say
Either way,
that
it's not higher than Osana, so.
doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter too much. Alsana, you glimpse it first. I'll say that Elaris and Kane, you notice as Alsana glances over, as a little flicker catches the corner of your eye. You see a little orb of light up near the ceiling.
I look
in
up
the
and it's like,
glow of the lantern.
Alright, dispel magic right away.
Okay. Let's see. Does Dispel Magic have a level requirement and a roll, or are you upcasting it?
I'll upcast it 1 up to. Well, actually, no. It's scrying is.
You're familiar with the spell, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
would know.
Scrying is minimum 5. I'm out of 5, so I'll just do a 3, and it'll be a contested. Or not contested, a.
Not contested. It would just be a check. So 10 plus the spell's level. Go ahead.
It's instantaneous. I could do guidance beforehand.
All right.
So.
You would know that you're planning for this. Go ahead and.
Oh my god.
Even with guidance, it's not gonna make it.
8. Christ.
All right. You expend the spell slot for Dispel Magic, and the little orb just kind of hovers there.
Do it again.
Okay. Roll again.
Oh my god, fuck off.
Put your guidance on there. 12. Another spell slot, another spell, and the orb just continues to stare.
1 more. Oh my fucking stop.
The scry is still present. Anybody else doing anything in this roll of about 18 seconds?
No, just looking up at it like, oh,
1 more.
shouldn't be
Okay.
there.
There you go. And with that last spell, the little scry orb is gone.
Well, that's starting now.
Yep, it was bound to happen eventually. It's concerning that they figured out we're on this plane already.
Of another note, are you all wearing your masks right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Of course.
If we've got the lantern out, we've got our masks on.
Yep.
good to know. Okay.
Yeah.
And make sure. All right.
My wonder is how. Sorry, did Althana notice who it seemed to be centered on?
I'm gonna say it's not really that obvious. It seemed to be, You
Yeah,
know
is
that
that
a
some sort of
scry orb
concept?
it's hard to say because you know that a scry sometimes focuses in like facing head on the target of your scry.
Could I do an
Sometimes it
Arcana check?
focuses like behind them.
Maybe insight?
Perception.
She's got all the bonuses, so.
I know she has all the bonuses. I'm just wondering if it's even possible to begin with.
I guess just like for next time, I guess we could just all walk a little bit in every direction and see what happens. See what follows.
Yeah. I'm going to say no because if everybody's close enough to benefit from Calda's bonus, which I took into account, then I'm going to say that it's not going to be obvious who among you was the focus of the scry.
And just,
Especially because nobody got up and moved to see if the scry would follow them.
I really need to get me some sort of like anti-magic sword or something like that. Be dope.
Question. Yes, Calda? Oh, that's interesting. Hold on 1 second. Is Scry a spell that's a range of self?
Yes.
That might be an odd technicality. Okay. Okay. That's a weird one, because technically it's on yourself. However,
does
you
say-
are targeting somebody.
On a successful
You know
save,
what?
the target isn't affected, implying
You
it
know
is
what?
being affected.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd say Cleansing Touch would work if you're able to figure out who the target actually is.
That's a really cool ability. I didn't know you had that.
Yeah. Let's go with it. Sure. If you can figure that out, then you can do that.
Yeah, because technically Thunderwave is target itself. So
Mhm. That works. All right. So that being done. Anybody doing anything else?
Not really, no.
I suppose we should dress for tomorrow.
Alright, Calder wants to know how she should dress for Umbarion.
How so? Do you mean like in a disguise? Sana's got the inside to pick up on that, I would assume.
Probably.
Yep, just of note, you're not here to look perfectly fashionable. You're here to look unassuming and maybe not covered in armor. That might not be a direct carryover. It's possible, and it's a reasonable worry, but it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, Miraculda had the same sword.
Alright, never mind. Would you be willing to part with it for a little bit?
I mean, I got you.
You could take Kane's in a pinch.
I got you, Calder, don't worry. I handed you a random +1 longsword that I just happened to have on me yesterday. I have weapons if you need them. Also, you can still retie that the gem you have on it onto the new item, can't you?
Yes. The gem is transferable.
I don't know if Kane's in the room. I'm asking out of character, but
Just steal something out of Kane's bag. Ask him.
do I have another greatsword? And I could probably summon one if I need to.
Didn't you just say you had a great sword that you were?
I had to switch it to a longsword because I didn't have one. Yeah, I had the +1 longsword. I knew that for sure. I don't think I had a greatsword on me. I have a glaive if you need it. Short sword. 10-foot metal pole.
Glaive would work because I'm assuming we're ignoring the heavy thing.
Calder
I have-
has glaive.
I have the Merilith sword if you really need. But yeah, I have a +1 longsword. It's probably the best I got for now. Unfortunately, the Merilith sword is very rusty.
You also have the
Oh,
Sword of Thorns to be
I also
picked up
have-
tomorrow.
I also have the Great Axe of Disarming that was Dren's weapon.
Ah,
Because that thing's pretty dope. Sword of Thorns is in Deep Thicket, yeah.
But if you pick it up
That's true, I could pick it up today, but it's extra teleportation.
tomorrow. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Didn't know if we switched or not.
It's up to you guys' travel plans. No, I have not had you guys go to bed yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
if you'd like, I could send
Yeah,
us
so
there.
Yep, so I've got this for you if you need it. I've got +1 longsword. I have Javelin of Lightning. Yeah, it's a Dren's Great Axe. If you want it, I can get it to you. Because it's not a plus anything, it's just a powerful weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe the first time I ever clicked the Great Axe of Disarming gets max damage and it wasn't even in combat.
Mm-hmm. But not a great 2-hit, so if you're fighting anything heavily armored, it might not have mattered if it was combat.
True.
To be fair.
True. Yeah, Kane slides it into the bag of holding. Just, I mean, it's safe as my weapons, and I've yet to have any problems with that.
Alzana like just gives a pat on the shoulder. You do this
I
to
think
keep you do this to keep your family safe, remember?
Yep.
Where is the Great Axe of Disarming sheet? Did I not have a sheet? I didn't have a sheet. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't make a little item for that one. Okay. So, with that, is everybody ready for the end of the day and the beginning of the next?
Kane's just going to suggest that we all sleep in one off to the side room and keep watch for each other.
Alright. Okay, 1 second for called it. Notes are happening. Yes, that's a lot of typing.
Do we want to maybe take a quick 5 minutes?
Sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
It's been an hour since we
Alright.
started. We're in the washroom.
Alright,
Yeah.
take a quick 5
Yeah.
and
Back
let
at the
everything
quarter of the
catch up.
I
Alright.
really need to have more weapons on my inventory. I don't have enough. Which I know sounds ridiculous, but like I genuinely don't have very many on them.
I think that's because a lot of weapons you loot are just generalized categories. Like, yeah, you just get some swords off of this group of enemies or whatever.
Yeah, you don't have 101 different effects, so it's not worth making different
Yeah.
hit things.
Which is a shame, because I would love to have like a little menagerie full of weapons.
You
Yeah,
already do.
I have like 3.
And they're
So I can't do
magical,
that
and this
either.
is in a high magic setting.
I know, but like
I don't think you do.
I do know. I just disagree. I can understand something and still bitch about it. Goddamn. Of course called Jesus. I rolled a 3 on the damage dice and still did more damage than Kane did. Alright, be right back.
Right.
I have this is like silly mental image in my head of Varl just sitting there with like arms crossed, going, "Should give him another shrine, god dang it."
Yeah.
No. I'm just sitting here thinking that's going to be a fun one for Calda to fish for crits on because of that 20 thing.
I really hope the Cola gets to like literally disarm someone.
Mm-hmm.
Really hoping for that.
To be fair, the odds of it are fairly low. You have to crit on the attack and then roll another 20.
Yep,
Oh, I
same
know.
as the
Yeah.
sword
I'm
of
just hoping we
sharpness.
get it at least once.
It's one of those things where you almost like at the same time do and don't want to be a higher rate.
I don't know.
Technically, it's any d20 you roll.
Alright. If it's any d20, then yeah. It would count.
So you're technically twice as likely, if not more.
Yeah.
Attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, not luck roll. Sort of thing. Okay.
I feel like there was an argument to be made about it being an attack roll because it's a roll to see if you sever someone's limb, but
It's
Oh,
not
I think that's separate.
it's not an attack roll, yeah, it's separate.
The rule says roll a d20, it does not say roll an attack roll.
now if you got the luck feat,
Be another thing entirely.
yeah.
Whenever
luck
you
is-
make an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw.
Oh, I thought, luck was, I thought luck Lucky was the one who was any or was any D20.
No.
You might be thinking of Divine Souls, Diviner Sorcerer, sorry, Diviner Wizard.
No, because that's you get to pick a number and replace it.
Yes, but I'm wondering if that is any D20.
So
Nope.
Might be.
Attack roll, ability check, or saving throw.
All right, they're being very specific and consistent with that. Is everybody back?
I think
Notes
so.
are good.
John, you back?
Maybe not.
I'll pour a drink real quick.
What was the one that was any D20?
There might not be one.
Yeah, maybe that was something I added and forgot that it was a supplemental.
Mm-hmm. Also could have been something homebrew.
Yeah.
Okay. Is everybody back now?
Yep.
John, check.
John?
Huh?
Ah,
Here,
he's back.
there he is.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. It's just, yeah.
All right.
Okay. So,
It is the Diviner Wizard. You can replace any D20. That's what it is. Sorry, figured out what it is.
okay.
All right. We rest for the night in Threshold.
Alright, and you are, if you wish, able to all bunk in the same room, for preference. The night passes without issue. You awake on the morning of the 8th of the month. You're able to get a filling breakfast and set out. I believe on boat was the plan to Ambarion.
Well, I'll check with the group real quick. Would you have me? No hearty breakfast? Does it stick to the ribs?
Sticks to the nasal cavity.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the group, like, do we want to? Basically, I can get us, I can get us, I can hop us to a place twice.
Well, I say we get there by boat, hop back when you do.
Because my
I was
thought
just
is we
saying.
go there by boat, then we head over to, then we jump to Deep Thicket.
Yeah, might as well. Save the spell slots if we can. Worst case, we use it for an extra scry.
Yep. All right.
Ken can charter a boat for free, so.
Yep.
In the meantime, do they have like spare like cloaks and stuff here?
Spare cloaks.
Yeah, just so we can like toss over ourselves.
There are a few nondescript, like white or off-white robes of sorts that some of the members of the Keepers would wear.
Okay. Ken will switch into his leather armor and put that over top.
The leather armor you gave to Calda?
Did she do something to it?
I'm just wondering if Calda still has it.
Just looks down like that. Calder might have my armor back. Do you want something to hold on to instead? Does it have to be leather? Alright. I think that's... Yeah, I don't have any fun leather stuff other than the armor, so... Yep, you'll just switch it over and... He'll switch to a normal shield. Put the lantern shield inside the bag,
Okay.
much as it hurts me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that's going to be the extent of Kane's disguise. He'll try to walk a bit differently too if he can. Probably like try to shrug himself down, make himself seem a bit shorter.
Do the silly walk, the absolute madman.
Take your word. Not sure what the meme is, but I'll take it. He will just keep his. Yeah, he'll just keep the rod in his belt with the rest of the weapons in the bag.
Okay. So, you don your disguises of varying levels and complexities. You're able to charter a boat that will take you from Threshold to Umbarion. It'll take the better part of the day to make the trip, but you'd be able to get to Umbarion not too late in the afternoon, especially with an early start. So, when you arrive, you pull up to the docks of what is to you called a very familiar sight. It seems that even across a different world, Umbarion has not changed too much. The architecture is much the same. The sights, sounds, and smells identical. You walk through familiar streets, only very occasionally getting that kick to the senses of something being slightly different. A bakery that doesn't exist on this side, perhaps. A small trinkets shop that you've never seen before going down this street. A few different, slightly different landmarks. Sneak a look at the shop if you're able to pass by it. Yeah, you walk past, it just looks like a lot of odds and ends, non-magical, almost the equivalent of a second-hand shop. Oh, it's open. It's a... you haven't... Oh, Corin's shop. Alright. That would depend on the route you might take. So I guess first, are you guys planning on heading towards the Alchemist or the library?
Probably the library first.
Okay. Alright. This route would not take you past Corin's shop specifically. But Calder, you know where it is if you would like to go and take a look, but it doesn't naturally drive you past it. So, you head towards the library. It is a far cry from the Conservatorium of Veravale, which is massive, soaring, and open. This is a smaller, more cramped sort of affair. Large enough, it's not the particular size and scale of, say, your small second-hand bookshop. There's a bit more to it, but it's also nothing on par with your university or your royal libraries might be. That said, it'll probably serve your needs. You can head in, inquire about maps, as I believe that was what you were looking for.
Yep.
And you would be shown to a small side room where a number of dusty scrolls and parchments are kind of locked away into various cubbies. An attendant will unlock the one for the city maps of the Shining Citadel and allow you to unfurl them, look through them, but the attendant must remain by the door to make sure you don't take them out. They
Yep.
are for perusal, for copying if you have your supplies to do so, but not to be removed from the library itself.
Yep. Just a slight warning, Ariel. There's this slight echo of the game coming through on your end. I don't know if you want to turn
Alright.
your volume down slightly or something. It's not too bad, just now and again happening.
Alright. Is anybody else picking up on that?
Picking up on what?
I can hear it, yeah. It's just
Okay.
not super loud.
Alright. I've already got it down pretty low. There we go.
But yes, Alsana will, if she can, do her best to copy over even just a rough approximation of the map,
Okay.
just so they have something to kind of glance at and look at and perhaps note down on.
No matter what, you will get at least a rough approximation, but for the sake of fine detail and accurate scaling, go ahead and roll me. Do you have sleight of hand proficiency?
No.
Okay. All right. Just go ahead and roll me a dexterity check.
Alright. Guidance applicable.
Go ahead.
16.
Okay. Yeah, you get a pretty good copy of the most recent map of the Shining Citadel.
For the
You might be
record,
off a little bit. You don't have like fine detail, but you've got the major locations. You've got the castle noted down. You've got the main gates noted and the main thoroughfares.
I've probably done this once or twice before.
Okay.
Yep.
It does take some time. Probably a good solid hour just to make sure that you've got things to your satisfaction.
During that, can she also do her best to, with her 20 wisdom and 20 intelligence, commit the map to memory?
All right. I'll say that would be a quick intelligence check.
I straight up just almost asked if we could just take a picture of it.
18.
All right. The act of drawing it definitely helps. When you're done, you're pretty sure that you've got, again, at least the most important things memorized.
Okay.
Okay. Ken's gonna spend the meantime. He's going to try to see if he can find any sort of history of basically what kind of weapons trade or what kind of weapons is made in the Citadel.
Okay.
Kind of anything that's like the kind of most commonly bought weapon by the guards and such.
Roll me a investigation, I believe.
10.
Called his typing. Hold on. Probably lances.
I
Yeah.
imagine for the warriors, yeah. Just curious about the guards. Wonder if they're like
Mhm.
kind of like Mounties or not.
Yeah, you don't find a lot on that specific topic, not with a 10, I'm afraid.
Okay, no worries.
Also, I was gonna do a quick look up. She wants to find history on the Citadel if she can. Moreover, any political assassinations.
Roll me an investigation check, please.
Alright.
Okay. Yeah.
24.
24, of course. Are you hoping for something?
What do you mean?
I mean that, yeah, there have been assassinations through history. There haven't been, like, tons and tons, but the occasional one comes up. You don't come across anything unusual.
Recent ones, persons of interest, powerful individuals, candidates for Alsana to bring back up.
Frankly, you're not going to come across anything extremely recent in this library. You definitely don't come across Queen Emmeline. She's far too recent for that. Not really.
Yep. Just wondering if there's any like great kings or anyone interred in the like royal the crypts or anything like that.
I mean, honestly, if you were to look at if you were to map out just names and lineage through history of Pridwen and their ruling bodies, and then you threw a handful of darts, you'd probably come across some assassinations. That being said, there is no great legend. There is no mighty king who was super powerful until he was assassinated and given Duskbell and could not be returned. You don't come across anything like that. Nothing stands out.
Alright.
It is the usual smattering of various kings that perhaps didn't get to rule as long as they might have otherwise.
Another day, this would be casual reading for Alsana, but...
Mhm.
Alright. Anything else you guys want to look through?
No? Calda? Anything here? I really need to pick some sort of code name. And just gesture towards Calda, just like, anything you want to get done? By the way, I assume we passed a decently sized tree for Alsana while here, right?
I'd imagine
Trees are few and far between. But yeah, Alsana keeps an eye out, so
I found one
probably
in the other
inevitably.
Barian.
Yeah, probably inevitably you come across something.
Okay. In that case, Kane will take Calda's hand like he's leading her and just hope she can guide him from behind towards the alchemist shop.
The other Barian trees, I think, called his backyard. That's fair. Right, but if there's one called his backyard, I imagine there's at least another.
You might have passed a park.
Yep.
At some point, or you will at some point.
Okay.
You'll have a tree.
Real quick, just to end off while in here, is there is there anything else Alsana can think of that would be a potential source for getting any sort of information to properly plan the thing we're getting into here? Is there anything we're missing? Any obvious things to look into or understand, or is the seeming thing of we'll figure it out once we get there seem to be the one that's weighing pretty heavily here?
Probably. Experience would be good. Experience, if you could get or have a guide, but you've already got something lined up for that. Devin wants to make an insight check on Ariel. Good luck with that.
Yeah. I just want to know if I'm kind of goose chasing here. I don't want to take this too much longer if it doesn't have to be.
A little bit.
Okay.
I don't have this huge, great secret planned that you just haven't stumbled upon, I promise.
I'm not looking for a great secret, but when we're told to keep, like, collateral to a minimum and we're walking into the town with two of the bosses, I'm considering that anytime possibility.
Mm-hmm.
So pre-research is reasonable, I would think.
Yeah.
Alright.
I just don't know if a library is the place for it.
That's why I ask if Alsana can think of anything else. Because there hasn't been anything else we've come across yet.
Yeah, I have no DM tip for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, alright.
Devin will remember this.
Okay, we will head to the alchemist shop then.
Okay. Alright. The alchemist shop is in a slightly different region. You do have to walk through a bit of the city. It's possible to take a route through the city that will not walk past the Fren leatherworking shop.
Actually, as they
Also
go to leave.
But it is possible to take one that does walk past that. And as you're leaving the library...
Yep,
What was it?
alright. Yep. Alsana was going to ask, Calda, are you looking to glance by or avoid? And then she quickly answers. Are you sure? Just to see it? I I think that's only what you can answer.
Kane, in his best Ambarian accent, is just gonna. Well, dear, if our daughter wants to go, she should go.
I think that might be psychic damage, but
Oh yes,
we're gonna
I know
gloss
you've
over
been
that.
adopted, but I'm still your father.
Don't look down on her, Ken.
It's a disguise. Unfortunately, it doesn't clang this time. That probably hurts. Yeah, that definitely hurts.
Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of a twist to the leg.
Fucking ow. Okay.
It's like Charlie Pegasus. One step above.
Does this exist?
Yeah, and Pegasus is a better horse. So it's a better Charlie. We go to the alchemists, and we make our way to pass the Friend residence, or what would be.
All right. Calder has one less point to make.
But the disguise.
All right. So,
See, it's not just passion.
as you as you walk along, Calder, you're picking up on more of those familiar sounds and smells of the city, and more specifically of what would have been your part of the city, your neighborhood within it. And as you approach, you see that there are lights on in the shop. You see that there is the sign hanging outside that indicates a leather worker in residence. You see goods set out on display outside, the door open. And as you walk past and kind of peek in through the windows, you see one of your brother-in-laws, Jakob, I believe, who seems to be running the shop. At a glance, his work doesn't seem quite as good as Corin's and yours, but he seems to be making it.
Is that all you wanted to see? Alright. So I just leans down and gives Calder like a little like shoulder pat side hug thing. I'm not. I promise. You're just physically. I'm used to hugging people my height, that's all. Come, let's be off.
You head off to the alchemist. Felix keeps potions. And it's kind of a cute little shop, honestly. Cuter than you might have expected from an acquaintance of Alistair's. There's little flower boxes in the windows. The outside is all nicely done up in whitewash paint and little touches of color on the shutters. You open the door, and the little bell jingles. And you hear from behind a counter, "Well, hello!
Hello
Come
there.
in! Let me know if I can do anything for you, dears."
It's a bear opening a hot tub.
Something's
I think
happening there.
I feel like I killed somebody. Was that in response to me?
No,
I heard something about a bear opening a hot tub. Personally,
that was background.
Okay. I
Don't
was
worry about
really
don't worry about the
wondering
bear
what
in the
the
hot
heck
tub.
was going on.
I
Okay.
yeah. What was that?
Okay. You enter and you see a what looks like a human man, perhaps middle-aged, uh, kind of on the skinny side of things. Just behind the counter of what looks like a fairly well-stocked alchemy shop. You see some finished potions arrayed behind him, neatly labeled. You see some jars of various common herbs and ingredients on shelves around the shop. A long table down the center holds a number of, um, let's say ready-made poultices, herbal remedies and cures. A lot of stuff that might be a little bit less magical, but would be more commonly in use by people who perhaps don't have 50 gold to sling at a problem.
the farmer's alchemy.
Yes.
Lazar just walks up. Good day. I am to assume you are Felix?
Oh, you would assume correctly. By
I
the way, I love your mask. Where did you get it? It's
Oh.
very stylish.
bit of a personal project.
All of you, I see.
Yes.
Bit of a party going on, I guess.
We are a bit of a party in and of itself. Um,
I can
We
see.
do crafts every other week. It's nothing.
we were recommended by one Alistair Open Threshold.
Oh, Allie, how is he doing?
Wonderfully cranky.
He never changes.
Mhm.
So, if he has recommended you to me, then I must ask, must be something terribly exciting and important?
Let's say so. I myself am a bit of a practitioner of alchemy.
Really?
I find
Very interesting.
I find myself looking to tackle a rather challenging project.
And Alistair sent you to me for my advice, expertise, 2 cents on the matter?
Something in that way. Also, we're probably in the market for some few basic purchases.
Well, do let me know if you see anything you like, and of course, everything here is labeled in for sale. Mostly common and uncommon potions. I very, very rarely get, well, rare materials. But they are fun to work with, though risky.
Mhm.
So, let me know what you would need to know, and anybody else is free to browse, of course.
Yeah, Alsan will look to the group and go, see what you can find. And then she'll like walk over properly to the counter. So I've recently come across a bit of a conundrum, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more working in reverse from something someone else has done.
Interesting, occasionally tricky. Do you know the ingredients involved? Do you know...
Duskbell.
Ooh, a bit of a tricky one, that.
This is where the, let's say, fun lies. I'm not looking to... well, I suppose I am looking to add to its effects, but I'm trying to combat someone who has found a way to, and I am serious in this, ignore it.
Oh.
Twist it and turn it.
Oh, but that would be... That would be at once innumerably valuable and breathtakingly dangerous.
Nods. I'm not in the market for recreating it. I'm in the market for stopping and countering it. And frankly, I would, if this were to be something assisted in, you're getting no promise of research on the inciting alchemy. That is some very nasty stuff.
Well, the I'm not even sure where to begin.
Either do I,
There's-
but I figured another mind here is invaluable.
Are you quite sure it would be a potion?
It would be through alchemy.
The thing is, there really is no potion in existence that even mirrors the effects of a ordinary resurrection spell under ordinary circumstances. I mean, alchemists have tried, just the magic is very difficult to get to take.
It's a fickle thing. I've looked into it.
Hmm.
I'm
Healing potions are one thing, potions of curing disease or poison another, vitality quite rare but possible. A potion of resurrection, let alone a potion of resurrection that would ignore Duskbell.
I'm not. I'm unsure if it's a proper mode of full resurrection through the alchemy. The insider I know also is a practitioner of necromancy, so that may muddy the waters.
Well, I suppose if that practitioner would have used a spell to raise the dead, perhaps then the potion is in conjunction with it to.
That's my thought. Frankly, I'd be much more worried if they could both ignore the dust spell and squish a holy resurrection into a bottle.
Yes, quite.
Could Olsana do a quick alchemy roll on herself to or I guess just with her passive or anything? Is it reasonable that it's more? Is it reasonable in her alchemical mind that it's much more likely that the other Olsana did an alchemy to ignore the dust spell and then did her own resurrecting?
Very likely. It is very likely that the potion was in conjunction with this. Also, you were seeing that there was a potion being prescribed to the queen.
Yes.
Continuously.
Another thing, let's say the subject of the raise is currently being kept up with and checked in on. One to imbibe a certain brew of some sort that I'm unaware of. That might be less curing and more staving off the effects.
Oh, quite possibly. If in theory you were able to. If in theory you were able to resurrect somebody under those effects, the effects are such that typically a Duskbell will keep somebody within that state of death. Or at the very least, it will, how to put it, lock out any attempts at removing said state. It is very possible that Duskbell's power is well known and immense in that regard.
Bit of a golden goose to tackle.
Very much so.
Chair there forever as permanent footrest.
Very much considering it.
It does excellently in preventing someone from raising a target as undead, of course, and is in fact its primary intended use. But since it also happens to lock out any more legitimate forms of resurrection, more complete forms perhaps, well, possibly. If you were able to resurrect somebody under it, a potion may be able to counter the effects of the death bell if you were able to create the correct brew, but then you'd have the singular issue of a spell that was capable of performing the resurrection at least long enough to get a potion into somebody.
Although I suppose you could have the potion preemptively imbibed into the body.
Perhaps, though, then you have the problem potentially of absorption. Uh, Potions tend to have most effect when there is a heartbeat, moving it around.
That's fair. Sana's just thinking and writing down notes for herself. So, let's say in a way of... Do you think it's feasible that this consistent staving off, is it reversible?
Well, to make a there are some low-hanging and very dark jokes to be made.
Yes, I understand the direct method.
Yes. As for reversible through alchemical means, very probably. I would not be surprised if a strong infusion of Duskbell itself would be sufficient to perhaps shock whatever system is in place into shutting back down. Normally, it would not be used as a poison in its own right, but if there is a potion deliberately countering its effects, continuous upon the body that's already been under it, has already succumbed to it, shall we say. In theory, that may be such a way. Well, other than that, it would depend entirely upon the composition of the potion itself that's in use. Not going to be able to do very much without a sample of it, or at least a inkling of the ingredients.
I'm on track to get that.
Oh,
Maybe within
very
a few
good.
days.
Well, that should clear up a number of questions of yours.
Nods. Just... I want to walk through and just make sure there's nothing I'm glancing over, in a way. Do you think something like that could be applicable to undead? If it can reverse the effects on a more living being of a more complete resurrection? Would a shambling corpse be under the same effects?
A shambling corpse would be under a very different spell, by its very definition. I couldn't really theorize. Honestly, if the potion is meant to be used on the living specifically, then it may not be of great use with the undead. It very much depends upon both the spell and the make of the potion itself.
Even... So... Smoke trash. Oh boy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ariel. Was it not said when we were talking to the chief that the fact that the Mir Alsana could counter Duskbell was cause for concern of her raising dead in Deep Thicket?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a concern. However, they don't know exactly how she did it.
Yes, but in the way that were she not able to do that, there would be less worry of her raising undead in Danager? Or not Danager, in Deep Thicket?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's more complicated than her just having a uber spell that can overrule everything, if it's something that's more involved, yeah, then there's a lot less worry, yes, of her just marching in, waving her arms, and suddenly skeletons come out of the ground.
But in that way, a lot of the Deep Thicket bodies are treated with Duskbell?
Yeah. Yes, most bodies would be treated with Duskbell in order to prevent undeath.
Okay. well, if a necromancer wanted to raise up some sleeping bodies that were previously treated, perhaps?
Sorry, you're asking about the necromancer previously treating bodies and then raising them?
Basically, like he said, he's not sure why you would do it for necromancy. The like reversing dust spell,
Mm.
and also is bringing up the thing of like bringing up bodies that were previously treated.
Ah, well, that would, again, very much depend upon exactly how the potion and spell combination is meant to work.
I suppose so. Could I trust you to help me with this later on? Have I
Oh,
sufficiently caught your attention on this, as it were?
I'm very intrigued. Absolutely, if you come across that list of ingredients, and perhaps something better to reverse engineer this, by all means, bring it my way. We'll put our heads together.
I would, again, want your... at least want your word that this is in effort to not have this be a thing proliferated through the world.
Hmm. Well, it could do a great deal of good. I mean, imagine if it could be refined to be used solely on the living, the reversal of various assassinations or accidents or the like.
There's a kind of a wince on her face and just... Would the fact that it actively enrages a spirit of death in passing change your mind on that?
Uh, Interesting. I will give it a little bit of thought. You wish to reverse the reversal?
Yes.
Yes? Ah. Hmm. Well, nevertheless, it's still an interesting scholarly approach. Hmm. Oh, very well.
I'll sort of give an insight on this guy.
Go ahead.
She was honestly probably casting guidance on herself for a little while, just thinking on things. So she's not really trying to hide it, but she's been doing it for a while anyways.
Mm-hmm. So 14. He doesn't seem super convinced, but he's willing to go along with what you're saying.
Okay.
For sake of argument, if nothing else.
Yep.
And also for sake of caution. If you can be more persuasive in the future, it'll probably bring him around. But...
Alright. So we'll note that down for later and maybe have Calda talk to him. Well, maybe not Calda. Maybe have... she goes, I actually haven't... If you're requiring more solid need on that, I have a acolyte of said spirit of passing and death. It's kind of what set me on this mission in the first place.
Well, I will take your word for it.
No,
Oh, by the way, excellent choice. Here, that's just 50 gold and takes the platinum. You get that potion. Really a smoke draft.
Smoke bomb, pocket smoke.
Yep.
I have a bomb now.
Yep. It'll just heavily obscure a 30-foot area. Thick black smoke for a minute. Or until and unless a strong wind disperses it.
Yep. Additionally, with that said though, could I perhaps, let's say, rent your facilities, alchemical facilities?
Oh. Well, that's interesting. I believe we could come to an agreement, though of course I would ask that you clean up after yourself and not room anything that would go overnight. All right. Well, I will. Let's see. What seems fair, and how long would you like to rent?
Also I'll look to the group and just, could I have you guys for maybe a few hours in here, in this town?
Yeah, I don't mind. Well, I can go explore and see what the town is like. A good night in the town. Can I roll for how shitty Kane's accent is?
Roll performance.
Alright. Oh, damn. Okay, not as terrible as I thought.
Kind of average. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, out of character, Kane, referring to him as Kane is fine, right? We agree
Probably.
with that?
Yeah,
Like in group?
probably.
Yeah. I was like,
Relatively, yeah.
yeah, well, Kane, you can go about the town and... Did we
You
pick
actually
names
were
for
the-
ourselves? I feel like we picked names for ourselves and I'm really forgetting them.
We jokingly did, but then no one remembers them, and I just kind of pat them on the head. It's like, don't worry.
Yep.
I'll let you stay here and enjoy yourselves, and I won't go too far.
Caloran, you can stay with me.
You can just avoid using names. It's not hard to change language like that.
Called is asking after the smoke bomb's ingredients, and to that Felix just gives you a joking little smile and wink. Trade secret. My own ingredients, my own recipe.
If he turns away, Alsana looks over and just gives Calda a thumbs up, like under the table.
Do not consume. You want to use it as a poison. Oh.
How much did Calda pay for that smoke bomb?
About 50 gold. Same as a potion of healing.
50 gold. Alright, and Alsana will go, how's 100 gold for 2 hours? 50 gold an hour?
That seems more than fair.
Alright, and she will hand over the probably 10 platinum.
Mhm.
And
he takes it and says, and I will return 2 of these if the station is properly cleaned when you're done. Consider it something of a down payment.
I'll take it. Alright, Alsana would like to distill and refine some of the stocks of Duskspell she has.
Okay. So you're just after distilled refined Duskbell, not a
Yes.
specific potion.
Not
Alright.
for the
Yeah.
first bit at least.
Okay. That should be easy enough to do. Are you just doing like an hour of that or both hours?
She'll do an hour of that to start.
Okay, how much Duskbell do you have?
She has 8 stocks.
8 stalks. Okay. You're probably not going to get a ton of extract from each. However, let's go ahead and have you roll an alchemy check with your usual guidance, just to see how effective you actually are.
Does she get any like small bonus for, having proper facilities?
Not particularly. It's more, yeah.
Alright. Alchemy with guidance.
Did you need a small bonus?
I'll take a +1.
34. My god. Alright. So somehow from these...
Of note, that extra 4 over the 30, this place is immaculate.
Yep. Alright. Now, normally you might get 1 vial of extract from these 8 stalks. You don't normally get a lot. However, somehow, you managed to refine the process in such a way that you get not 2 vials, but 3. Because that's what happens when you roll godlike numbers.
Duskbell extract. Alright. Now, on that, with the other hour, could she use some of that extract and basically find a way to make it kind of tacky in a way.
Contact?
Yes, she
Instead
would
of-
like a contact method of it.
Okay. So you're kind of, instead of making a potion, you're sort of making a salve.
Yes.
All right. There is likely a way to do so.
Actually,
Um,
I have another thought. Tell me if this would be more than an hour.
mhm.
Could she also has 10 Dittany sprigs. Could she distill that further into some, or not distill, but incorporate some of that to get a proper undead smacker contact?
Hmm. I think that would probably count as a level of potion, which would be more than an hour.
Okay.
Distilling is almost prep work
Alright,
in a
alright.
way.
Yep,
so-
then she will try to do her best to tack up the 2 vials of the 3.
Okay. Give me one more alchemy check.
28.
28. All right, you successfully, within the hour, kind of combine and reduce the 2 vials into a singular pot of a salve-like substance. You have to include some other ingredients in order to thicken it, in order to give it that texture and consistency. But
Bit of
they're
honey.
all fairly common things that you have on hand. So, this one pot of stuff, basically, I'll say depending on what you're going to use it for, it might contain about, how to measure it. Let's say it contains about 6 thumbfuls. You know, you scrape your thumb through it, you get a little bit on there, you smear it on something.
Okay. So like 6 doses basically?
6 doses, basically, unless you want to do like an extra big dose on something, in which case just mark off 2.
6 doses of Dust Spell Salve. Alright. That's mainly what she's doing. I'm gonna run the washroom real quick if anyone else wants to futz around anywhere. I'll be right back.
Yep.
I will say,
Uh,
Kane is going to. So, question:
yes.
when I pull something out of the bag of having, do I have to pull it completely out, or can I leave it halfway in and halfway out? Because I assume because I can put my hand in there, I don't have to go completely in.
Yeah. No. You could probably drape something out of the bag.
Okay. Can I very slowly, starting from the tip, try to start sharpening the Merilith sword?
Oh dear God.
Just having the bag under my cloak and just very slowly pulling the tip out to sharpen it bit by bit.
Is this as you're walking somewhere?
No, he's just sitting in the back of the store, keeping an eye on the people inside. I'm going to be honest, Kate's entire goal for leaving was just in case there is a scrying spell that targets him.
Okay. You probably could, though it'll be a little extra tricky because you have to work super slow.
Yep, that's okay. He's not looking to be quick here.
Yep. And also the angle is at times a little awkward. Just because you have to reach your hand inside the bag, you have to tip halfway out. It's not simple to sharpen a sword that's halfway in a bag of holding.
I'm not going to argue that, don't worry.
Yep. You're not going to make a lot of headway in these 2 hours, but you can get some rust off.
It's a big ass sword. It's going to be a project no matter what.
Yep. Is that all you're doing with this time?
Yeah. Just chilling.
Okay. Alright. Calda's hanging out in the shop, I believe. Elaris, are you doing anything?
Not really in particular. Probably browsing.
Alright, do you want to roll a d100 to browse funny potions?
Sure.
Go ahead.
86.
86. I believe you actually come across the same superior healing potion as Kane did earlier.
Hmm.
A greater healing potion, not superior.
Okay. Anything else?
You want to roll another D100? Go for it.
Sure.
Calder can as well, because you're hanging out in the shop and kind of looking around, probably.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. 5.
5 and a
Five.
27. Alright. On a 5.
I
Oh.
rolled it beneath my level. Does that mean I get the divine intervention?
Hello.
Hello.
What fresh hell are you guys rolling?
Elaris, as you browse, you come across a little vial in somewhat of a fancier shape of glass than a lot of the others. This one looks like it was specially packaged. It's got this slightly bubbly, sparkly looking, like pink lemonade colored liquid inside.
Uh-huh.
And you see in fancy calligraphy on the tag, this is a potion of Bard's voice,
Oh.
and it promises a lovely singing voice for an unknown number of hours. No less than 1, no more than 4. Basically 1d4 hours. Called it with a 27, you come across a... You come across, actually, instead of a potion, you find a small, what looks like a small salt shaker, with the top kind of sealed with some wax. And a tag says that this is a, this is a concoction of taste. And it says any food that is sprinkled with this will taste fantastic, no matter what it may be. That one is a simple little one. It probably runs about 40 gold.
Secret mom spice.
Mhm.
Making your kids eat their vegetables has never been easier.
Alright,
I don't want her to be
mark that
discouraged.
off.
I assume Alsana recognizes it instantly.
It's not super common, but it is kind of one of those little cheats if you can afford it. The trouble is affording it.
Yep. If Alsana's given it, she kind of looks at it like, I very much appreciate the sentiment, but part of me can't help but feel like you're giving me this because my cooking's not very good.
Of course, Alsana would find the insult in a gift.
To be fair, while it's known as a bit of a cheat, it's also something that a lot of like high-end kitchens will keep on
Okay.
hand, just in case you oversalt something and you don't have time to redo it.
Okay, so it's more an OS bar than it is a...
A little bit, yeah. Though some people have been known to, or suspected of, putting it in just everything as a shorthand that it shouldn't be.
So she'll kind of look at it and like, well, you're forgiving me if I don't use it on everything, but definitely if we come across more of the exotic foods, this could seriously help. Thank you. My snake was fine.
Allspice squared.
Omnispice.
It is Omnispice, yes. And the thing is, due to the magic in it, it tastes good to anybody and everybody who eats it.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't matter if you have personal tastes that mean you normally don't like this thing. It's gonna taste good if this stuff is involved.
Bye. Omnimom.
Omnimom. Anyhow, Alsana finishes up potions, you guys finish up browsing, and get started on some sword sharpening. By this time, it's getting later in the evening. It may be around 6, 7. Felix is looking to close up his shop as you finish up. He looks over the area and gives a little whistle. I believe you left that better than I did.
I wanted to. And she says with a devious smile.
Well, professional courtesy is always appreciated. Speaking of which, and he hands back 2 of your platinum, as promised. Now, if you come across those interesting little secrets, very seriously, do come back. I'd be happy to allow you use of my facilities again.
I think I just might. I found myself a bit of a stranger in a strange land recently. So finding a place to go for something like this is very appreciated.
Oh, well, by all means. Oh god, the chat. Oh my goodness.
And just, yes, I think I might well be back, and you'll have to, I'll have to thank, Alistair for the recommendation.
Well, I as well. He always sends the most interesting people, I swear.
Interesting attracts interesting, I guess.
Indeed.
Well,
now, I need to close up, so
of course.
while I appreciate your business and your interest, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps another day.
Indeed. I'll leave you to your rest.
Thank you. And I do look forward to meeting you again. Oh, and thank you for your business, says Takalda in particular.
Good stuff.
So with that, you guys head out into the evening air of Umbarion.
From the back of the shop, you hear. He's still sharpening the sword.
Whatever.
Alright. So, from here, where are you guys headed?
I think Deep Thicket. We have a sword to pick up.
Yes.
We have some preparations to continue to make. We have the time. The distinct impression I'm not going to be able to find any more pressing information on Citadel until we're running by the seat of our pants there.
I mean, probably not. Unless we find a way to the big library city.
Just
oh, we know, Ariel. It's okay. We can talk. We can talk about it later. Yep. Just as they're walking, point, we just need to give Ariel a break and just tell her that we just wait until we go to where we need to go.
As we're walking, also just like gives a breath and just. It's an interesting thing here. It smells similar. It's a bit in the olfactory uncanny valley. Can't imagine what it must be like for you. At least as close as you can get. Shall we be off?
I think we shall. I want to see that sword turned out.
And she'll find a good tree, not in too much public view. Drag a finger down the side of it. And open.
Alright. You open up a tree, you step through, and arrive in the deep thicket. You get a little bit of a startled reaction from a nearby warden, but they recognize you by your masks and lower their bow after a moment, give you a nod. You're
Hello.
free to enter into the city.
Glad word's gotten around about us by now.
There's a bit of a shrug and an elvish. You're distinctive. Let's put it that way.
Thank you. And going to probably go head to the Chief Warden, because Kane needs the sword.
Yep.
Off to find
All
the
right.
wizard. It's a wonderful wizard of stab.
You head in. You see the Chief Warden just crossing the room towards the back, but she turns, looks at you, gives you a smile and a nod, and beckons you to follow. As she heads into a back room, you follow and you see her flip a bit of cloth aside from where it covers something on a table. And you see these sort of thorns. Visually not too different from when you last left it. But she taps it with a finger, looks at you, Kane, and says, "All clear."
Alright, what's changed about it? Does it just
Oh.
not stab me back when I use it?
Pick it up and give it a feel for yourself.
look
And
it up.
yes, when you pick it up, you find that when you as you get a feel for it, it is no longer going to do that necrotic damage to you.
Oh, thank God.
Could I? And also, like, puts a hand.
It is also, as of Calda's influence prior, it is also not going to grow brambles over you as you sleep if you keep it outside the bag.
That's good, because that shit was like waking up and rolling into poison ivy every morning.
Also, let's go do the quick, like, detect good and evil, just to see if that's assuming that a little slight desecration is cleared up.
It is clear.
All right.
Did you? I forget. Did the unicorn wand remain desecrated, or did you guys clear it?
No, that was very much cleared. The wand itself was the least desecrated of anything there. It's what helped us
Yeah,
clear
but
that
still.
place.
Yeah, plucked off the head of a corrupt unicorn.
Yes, and that was the
Oh,
only
well.
thing that kept it not.
Still. Okay, we'll take the sword and just start like swinging it back and forth like. Oh, this feels right. I like this.
Good. Now,
Takes it in one hand, summons the flame blade longsword in the other, short sword in the other hand. Like, yeah, I can get used to this.
now, we have been at work the past day, but I believe we'll save the tour of it for tomorrow. The hour grows late,
Oh,
and
that's right.
people do need to rest.
Are you-
As a note, though, we will be not sticking around tomorrow. We have a potential lead to lend a hand in another city, and will likely not be back for at least a day.
Are you in the state for a proper recap of events?
Well, perhaps a brief
Give
one.
Ariel a break.
And we're going to
Yep.
basically skip over
And that's exactly what I
the
was gonna say.
recap.
Yep. And just, and all that to say, we have an ally in the Queen.
It'd be convenient if we were able to avoid such a battle.
Would you perhaps, once we shake things up there, and given the previous infraction kind of levied towards things, would you be willing to perhaps support Citadel in the fight against these? If they were to decide to take a stand? Because if they're
No.
not able to defend against it,
The wardens are tied to the deep thicket. We cannot weaken our presence here, even if it were to strengthen elsewhere.
then should worse come to Citadel, would you perhaps be willing to be a bit of a temporary haven?
If there were to be refugees, they would be best served by Tanager. We do not.
Let's narrow it down then.
Masses of people destroy forests. It is not something that is necessarily of malicious intent, but the very weight of their feet crushes plants and scatters animals. The forest would not be safe for them, and they would not be safe in it.
The animals and their death do feel the roots, however. But, point taken. Let's narrow it down then. Would you have anything to say to the Queen? As we may be a bit of an emissary in this odd time.
Not in particular. Dear, there are complications to getting tangled up in outside affairs. It is best if they do not expect anything overmuch from the wilds of the woods, because civilization has a habit of believing that these places are to be used. And that is not what this place is for. Do you understand?
Nods.
By the way, at this point you notice a small glowing orb in the air within the lamplight, looking down upon the group.
You'll have to excuse me a moment. And she's just going to wave her hand. 5th level.
Hold on before you do. Let's see who it's following.
Alright. Also, I'm just
Okay,
going to
well-
take it. Yeah, alright, Kane's moving.
Kane will just kind of step as far on the other side of the room as he can, and away from the leader.
Mhm.
Is it moving on?
Not really, but it's also hard to tell what direction it's facing. It is a featureless orb,
That's true.
and you're still within the room. You're still within sight, potentially, if it's just rotating.
Kane kind of turns and just like, fair.
Okay. So, in what order are you doing your cleansing touch?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you should probably try me first.
Okay. You put the hand on Alsana, pulse the magic through, glance at the orb, it's still there. Reach over to Alaris, cleansing touch, the magic runs through him, glance at the orb, and it's gone.
Meantime, Kane just kind of turns to Osana. Weird question. If you're being watched by that, and you cover yourself mostly by like a blanket between you and that thing, but you still leave room underneath the blanket, will it come under the blanket, or will it stay watching you from above?
She can tilt her head. I watch the other Calder, slip into bed. Cover of a blanket does not seem to affect things too much.
So the angle doesn't move? Okay.
The GM has never given me that much free control, so
Yeah, just one of the things I'm curious about. Just like, can you stop a scry spell by just putting yourself under a blanket with enough space underneath? If you crawl underneath your bed, will it watch the bed?
It'll probably try to keep you in sight, but if you are like cocooned in a blanket, there's nowhere for it to like crawl in. However,
Yeah.
if you make yourself a tent out of a blanket with headroom and space around you, it'll probably go in there with you.
That's actually a fun point. What about a lead blanket?
Alright, we're gonna leave that where it is, because, okay.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Alright, you see the scrying orb vanish. And the Chief Warden looks around. Did something just happen?
did you not see the bit of glowing in the corner?
Oh.
Alsana
Let
kind of
me
like
just
produces
see.
her mirror and taps it. Wasn't me. Although it
Hmm.
might have been, if you know what I mean.
That is, Unfortunate.
Not the first time.
Especially as now she has a window into this room, should she wish to scry upon it.
Nods.
Has she been doing this often?
Once before. Yesterday.
Mhm. See your face screw up.
You know what,
I will
Calder?
ask.
That's a good question, and Alsana is going to pull it into put the mirror down. But let she finish.
She puts a hand up. I'm going to ask that you remain the night in this room. I will have bedding brought in, but if the scrying is attempted again, and if it is successful, you have the means of noticing and of clearing it, and I would rather not allow vision, sight, of other places within our realm, however brief it may be.
That's fair. Alright, Alsana will go give a scry
Okay.
on Alsana. Because that's prime suspect.
Time to open a sheet. Alright. Your spell save DC
19.
is 19.
Like
Your
there's a picture -2.
modifications,
So 21.
because you're looking at yourself in the mirror. 21. Okay. Wisdom saving throw.
Never mind, never mind.
You focus on the mirror, cast the spell through it. You only see your own face staring back, as the spell went out but was blocked.
Alright. Shakes her head. Right. Tit for tat then. She'll cry on Laris.
Alright, another sheet. You know, I thought I'd be opening these sheets for a different reason today, but... Wisdom saving throw.
Arla, at some point she'll get used to the idea of the fact that we take things slowly.
Never. Never, ever. Alright.
Just like you get nervous with our DM stuff. We get nervous with yours.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You focus, and you scry upon Elaris, the other Elaris. Okay. You see the vision of the mirror open up upon a room. Unfamiliar. Seems to be made of wood and stone, with a fireplace on one side. Small, banked for the night, it seems. A few candles scattered about, but it is dim, nearly dark. There is a canopied bed on one side. It looks heavy, but comfortable. Within the room, you see Elaris. Seems to have just finished eating a dinner. You see an empty plate with small remnants of whatever the meal was left upon it, sitting on a tray on a small table by a door. And Elaris is sitting in a chair before the fire with a mostly empty glass of what may have been wine. He's just sitting there with his head propped up on one hand, staring into the fire. And for a while, he is alone, just contemplating the soft crackle. And then there is a knock on a door that you don't see. He stirs, looks over. Who is it? It's me. You hear muffled Alsana's voice from outside. Come in. He gets up, sits more straight in the chair, and sets the glass to the side as the door from outside the scry sensor opens. And then you see your doppelganger walk in, Alsana.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down in another chair next to the fire. So, I seem to be capable of sensing my scries. Couldn't do that before, could they? No. I'm not quite sure what's changed, but I have noticed they're carrying a lit lantern with them, even during the day, even when it's not needed. I'm suspecting that may be some form of artifact. Alaris kind of hums and takes another sip from the glass in his hand. So, they're noticing and not saying anything. Not saying anything and also canceling the scry. Gives her a bit of a look like, no, dispel magic, I can recognize that spell. Simple enough, but it's a counter. Though that last one, my other was about to use magic, I believe, but then Caldas did something. I'll have to ask her if she's capable of removing scries upon an individual. She seemed not to target the spell itself. Well, if they're being cautious, then that might not be the best way to get information. Still, it's a curiosity more than anything, isn't it? Yes and no. It's always useful to keep track of their movements. For instance, I'm fairly certain that they were in... I would like to say Threshold. It was built similarly to Sanctuary. But this new place, I've never seen it before. And they were with someone. An old elf woman. Alaris hums. Well, if you know the place, if you know the woman, you'd be able to scry her. Perhaps. I don't know what her fortitude is like. And I don't know how difficult it would be to time it. Frankly, I'd rather save my strength at times, but if curiosity takes me, perhaps it's an avenue. Still. Somewhat frustrating that they're spotting it so quickly now. I suppose now we'll just have to rely on luck. If I ever happen to catch them unawares. Surely they can't keep the lantern burning all night.
Ha.
Maybe you'll get lucky. Though, I guess the downside of that is little use in watching them as they sleep. They're not going to do or say anything interesting. It is a downside.
Joke's on you, I sleep talk my entire plans for everything.
Oh, speaking of which, you haven't done the... He taps his forehead. I've been keeping it under wraps while we're here. No use spooking the locals. Though, on that note, you see the tattooed line open up. And she looks around. Ah! Ha! Oh, they launched a counter. Well, I'm quite sure it wasn't on me. You must be the lucky one. Not being careful enough, are we? Oh, shut up. Well, no matter. And she reaches a hand towards the scry. Well done. But this is going to be very short-lived. Alsana, I would like a contested wisdom check, please.
Doing it.
So I reopen a sheet. Okay, let me go to output all, wisdom check. You hold on to that scry. You see the brow furrow and the little sliver of a tattooed eye narrow at the same time her own eyes do. Hmm. Oh, it's definitely you. Stubborn as anything. Give me another wisdom check, please. She flexes her hand
Yeah.
and grasps the scry and rips it away. And in that instant, you see, as you look up from the mirror, an orb floating in the air, looking back at you.
Oh god, wait, that's the fact.
This is some cat and mouse shit.
Glances up. Taps Calda.
Wait, hold on. Should we
Shut up.
totally tell? Should we totally tell them everything? Like
In
how
that
we.
moment, Calda makes a gesture and cleansing touch on Alsana, and the orb, gone.
Oh, come on! I was about to tell them about all those hordes of dragons we're going to send on them.
I don't even think they believe you.
No. Oh yeah.
Do you really think they would?
Maybe I'm reverse psychologying them, saying the thing that's
Yes.
true, so they think it's false.
Where are we gonna get a horde of dragons?
Well, that's the joke. It's a horde of dragons, but really, it's just us. My armor already looks kind of draconic, and I might as well be a horde with how hard to hit
Kane,
stuff.
I don't need this right now.
You're an
Fine.
imbecile.
Well, we knew this already.
She's been turning it back on us. It's true counterspell, the bitch.
Well, we know she has it now for sure.
And
Okay,
we know
if-
that her doing that wears her out far more than it would me.
Yep. So in a situation where we plan to have some fun that day, maybe use Scry and make sure she notices, and, well, perhaps she'll waste the spell.
If it's the...
Alsana, could you give me a quick Arcana check?
Sure. 30.
She was not casting a spell.
Alright. Well, she has something close to it then.
Alright. Oh. Might as well get some sleep.
The amount of time she can keep it up to it probably doesn't wear her out. We have to be careful with magic on her. All physicals have full permission to beat her into the ground. Just leave her heart intact.
I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't gonna wait for permission.
Full direction, I should say. Personal
How about you go-
request.
How about the word approval is put in there?
I'll never approve of you, Kane.
But she would approve of me beating her skull, her brain over her skull, I imagine. I'll even keep it in a jar for you.
Keep me up so I can keep all of you up. Sounds good. You can do the same for me. I've not had the chance to properly. She runs a finger down the side of the porcelain mask. Really try this out. Give it its full stretch. Well, for the record, and she looks over to the chief, they don't recognize you and they don't quite know where we are, though they seem to intend to give a check in here later on.
You see the chief's, her face scrunches a little bit in distaste. Well, I suppose I will have to be careful not to go near anything too vitally important to know that might make things difficult.
Elsa,
As long as you are near with that lantern, such scries would be noticed, yes?
Yes. What is it, Kane?
Just a thought. The spell we use to understand in language, it doesn't require you to focus, right?
Don't believe so.
Damn. Huh. I was hoping you could possibly speak in a language that she really have no way of understanding, and, well, you wouldn't have to worry about her overhearing you at least.
I can't.
But
I
I
can't.
suppose if you don't need to focus.
Additionally, I can't really guarantee that she doesn't know Celestial
Oh,
or
no.
Abyssal.
Not you. I'm at the high guardian. I think that was the word.
Chief.
Chief. That's the one. The high chief. Chief Warden.
Chief Warden.
Guardian. There we go. Chief Warden.
If it helps, my name is Valindra.
Oh, thank God. I didn't know how to ask that in a polite way.
That's a lovely name.
You know when you like talk to someone for the first time, then it's like a week later, and you realize you never actually asked their name, and at that point, it's just too awkward to ask. It's only really magnified when they're infinitely more politically powerful than you are.
There's also to know if that name has any sort of elvish significance or anything.
I'm gonna say I did not plan any.
All right. Does she know the name from the other side?
No.
All right. Just taps her chin. Can't say I've recognized that one on the other one. Do you have a last name?
Yes. Hold on one second. Inafiel.
That's a really good elf name. That's a really good elf name, Ariel.
Any bells?
No.
Kind of narrows her brow. I've not been to Deep Thicket, but
Well, that may be why.
I've found others in other places.
But for now, shall we get some rest? And Chief Warden, you're free to sleep here as well if you'd rather avoid revealing anything else.
I
We
may
can keep watch
just-
for you.
It would be appreciated, and frankly, with that revelation, the more time that I can ask you to spend with me in Deep Thicket, the more appreciative I would be.
I don't think we have plans for anywhere else until we aim to deal with the source of the problem.
Well, let's try to avoid speaking in plans as much as we can, just in case we're not noticing a sensor at some point.
Fine, but we all know what we're doing, yes?
Of course. As always, acts of extreme kindness, we're going to bake them cookies and send it by mail.
Rolls her eyes beneath the mask. Let's go to bed.
Sure. I'll take first watch. Calder, how are you on lamp oil? Still good?
I think we have inordinate amounts. How long can they keep that landing? 70 hours.
That's 3 days. I mean, Kane will try to pull another a large amount of lamp oil out of his bag. Gonna go to bed, so I might as well use it.
Okay, go ahead and roll a d20.
Sorry, I'm switching my armor back to what it should be. Okay. It actually made a button for it, so I can just click it now, because I should have done that forever ago.
And small thing, also it does recap the rest of the scry for everyone as well. You hum a lot,
d20 of
Lars.
4. You get 1 vial of lamp oil.
Yeah, it's 8 hours. I'll take it.
It's actually a little bit. I'm going to say it's not quite standard because it's a 4. The vial you get is not great quality oil. It's going to burn twice as quickly, so it's 4 hours.
Vegetable oil.
It's sesame oil. Like, it burns, but it just smells really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, and Kane will just take first watch, and he'll use his lamp oil for it, and well, I guess we'll watch for a sensor during the night.
All right.
And really, at this point, that's pretty much all we're going to be doing.
Yep. So as you guys go and get a rest, keeping an eye out for any scry sensors. None appear over the night. And you wake the next morning, the 9th of the month, the day that you are due to scry in on Lisa later in the afternoon. But with plenty of time to help around Deep Thicket or do whatever else you would want to as preparation for that.
Alsana's going to
So,
keep on the G4 and just make sure there's no extra scries and remove them if needed.
but we're going to worry about that next week.
Oh, Oh,
because
I didn't
we
even
have
look at
a
the time.
shortened. Yeah, we have a shortened session today because of a late start.
Oh, we got the full
So-
3 hours.
It's a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and call that done there.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time.
Until next time.